Hi, Colin.
Hey, Ned, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are yourself?
I'm doing great.
Nice. Did you get a chance to try out the other studio space?
I did. It's yeah, it's not gonna work. It's
Okay.
it's 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 a little bit too echoey out there.
Okay. And you have a dedicated microphone in here, right?
Yeah, it's in the room here. Yep.
Okay, cool. Perfect. All right, man. I'm excited to jump into this episode. Think you've got a lot of amazing things you've done, and it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it.
Awesome. So, just pulling up my notes. How do I pronounce your name?
Colin Herdman.
Colin Herdman.
Yep.
Right, that's what I was thinking. And what's the origin of your name?
Um, that's a good question. I think my first name might be tied to like the Irish somehow.
Okay.
I don't know that for sure. Then the last name, I believe, is Swedish, but I think they spelled it differently, like Herdman, and
Got
yeah, but none of us are Swedish, so yeah, I
it.
don't know where we got that.
Probably, probably somewhere in the path in the family history, maybe there's something.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. All right, sweet. I'm ready. Couple of things for you. So if you can bring the camera closer and move a little bit further back so our head sizes are about the same.
Okay,
Bring the camera closer.
okay,
No, you're pushing the camera backwards. I want to see the line in your office. I want it to be parallel to uh, the side of the screen. So
okay.
the the
You want
lines,
you want me to bring it in and down
yeah.
some, like?
So right now the laptop screen is like this. I want it to be, as
Oh, I
perpendicular
see.
as.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There we go. See the lines behind you on either
Yep.
side. They're now more parallel. That's where I want to.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, much better. All right, sweet. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Hacks and Hobbies. And today we have a guest whose journey started right after college and has since evolved into a thriving entrepreneurial career. Colin Herdman, co founder of Monkey Island Ventures, is joining us today. Colin, thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here.
I love the idea of creating Monkey Island Ventures, and you actually named it after a park that you and your co-founder played at since you were just 5 years old.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. All three of us. So Josh, Zach, and I, we've all known each other since we were about 5 years old, and named our company Monkey Island Ventures after a park that we played at, located in St. Paul, Minnesota. So yeah,
Nice.
it's been great having them as business partners, and yeah, we've had a lot of various trials and tribulations over the years in terms of
Mm-hmm.
starting a lot of different businesses that I'm sure we can get into today. But yeah, I
Yeah.
highly recommend anyone listening, if you can go into business with friends that you just innately trust, regardless of the situation,
Yeah.
it makes the ups and downs of owning a business so much easier.
You're absolutely right because not only is there no honeymoon period, you're directly into the business part of it because you already know each
Yeah,
other, you already know how you work, you
exactly.
play together in playgrounds and whatnot. Now, before we dive into Rainmaker and how you help people use LinkedIn to generate leads, can you share a bit about, how did you go from starting your first company right out of college to co-founding Monkey Island Ventures?
Yeah, for sure. So, I fell into entrepreneurship really just by chance, and I guess serendipity played a role in that because I love it. But I graduated with a criminal justice degree, which I
Mm.
never used, and I started my first company, like you said, a week after graduating from college, having never took a business accounting or marketing class in college, and so it was all trial by fire. And that first company I had it for a little over a decade, and ended up selling that company. And then again, serendipity played a role. And Josh was moving back from Uruguay, having spent a decade down living down there with his dad's side of the family. And Zach was transitioning a children's publishing company into a sale. And so the three of us really just had an opportunity to go into business together, and we jumped at the chance. And yeah, it's been an amazing journey ever since.
I want to know like what inspired you to say and start that company because right out of college, like what was the itch that you wanted to scratch or what was the desire behind starting that company?
Yeah, I think a lot of it was probably just based in the fact that I really enjoy taking on new challenges.
Mhm.
And it seemed like such a unique challenge, something that I didn't have any experience with.
Yeah.
Uh, and aside from that, yeah, I didn't really have a lot of other options that I was pursuing. So I'm just like, all right, I'm going to learn how to build and run a company.
That makes a lot of sense. So you're basically out of college. You're like, okay, I'm gonna land this job. I'm gonna land this job. You're applying left and right, and when you're not able, when you didn't land anything, like, hey, how about we start our own company?
Yeah, and so, I was about halfway through my senior year in
Okay,
college where I met the one of my co-founders for that first business. So I pretty much knew after I graduated that this was something that I was going to get into. So I never
got
applied
it.
for any jobs. I've actually
Oh,
never
you
even
didn't. Okay.
no, I've never even created a resume. So I've never had to go through that process.
That's amazing. Never had to create a resume. That's a powerful one. Now,
Yeah.
Colin, we hear a lot about a lot of the potential of LinkedIn for business. A lot of people that I talk to, they're like, LinkedIn's where they make the business. LinkedIn was where it's at. Like, and I've been on LinkedIn for over 20 years. I don't know if they're that old,
Yeah,
but
2002 I think is when LinkedIn
2002, right? So
came out.
about
Yeah.
almost about that time, right, that I've been
Mhm.
on LinkedIn, and it's evolved over time. What's the different about your authentic engine approach than most people don't really know how to think about that?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question. I mean, the reality is LinkedIn is growing really fast still. It's
Mm-hmm.
adding, I think, two people a second globally. So, and some of the other stats around it, around, decision makers are on LinkedIn, and people are able to grow their business using LinkedIn. And the way that I really think about LinkedIn is kind of on three levels. That first level being philosophically, the second level being audience, and the bottom level being strategies.
Mm.
And philosophically, I think there's a few ways that you need to approach LinkedIn if you want to succeed using it, especially for B2B, which is you need to be authentic and genuine. I think most everyone does that already, right? That's pretty much just table stakes. You need to be,
Yeah.
accurate in how you represent yourself, and you need to be authentic in the way that you represent the way that you represent yourself, as well as the
Mm-hmm.
brands, right? That you are either creating or that you work for.
Yeah.
Uh, then the next thing is you need to come with an education mindset. No one wants to be sold on LinkedIn. Okay? We all get those spammy messages. They do
My
not work.
God.
They will never work. Okay. And it ruins the ecosystem on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
um, you need to come with an educational mindset. The other thing is an experimentation mindset, which is, like you said, LinkedIn is changing all the time. You can always get better, and just as it pertains to marketing in general, you always want to be testing. And so I think that the experimentation mindset is important as well. The last thing that I'll say around the philosophy, and this is where I put a lot of pressure on myself, but I'll put the same pressure on other founders or anybody that sits in a sales or marketing seat, which is you need to understand the pains and the barriers that your prospects are trying to overcome. You need to know what they want to be educated on. And really, most importantly, you need to explicitly know what is it that they want to learn from you? What can you teach that they want to learn? And I think any B2B business that can figure that out can really succeed using LinkedIn and driving leads and sales through LinkedIn. So that's really how I think about it philosophically, right? Is about being authentic, coming with an education, experimentation mindset, and then knowing explicitly what is it that your audience wants to learn from you.
Mm-hmm.
Then the layer underneath that is really around building your audiences. when I'm targeting audiences, I'm using LinkedIn Sales Navigator for most of the audience building that I do. And it's a great tool. It's a LinkedIn tool made for
Yeah.
salespeople and marketers, and you can build and save discrete audiences. So it's a great tool. But one of the other things that I've been thinking about the last few months is around audience intent. And there's a
Mm,
few ways that you could start identifying prospects that are further down the purchase path. So one way would be LinkedIn events. So if any of your competitors or any industry organizations are doing LinkedIn events that have to do with a topic that your business directly or indirectly solves for, you're able to go and attend those events, and you can see everyone else that's also attending that event. So you could actually start building an audience of people attending events that, going by certain titles and geography and company sizes and all those things, and really start honing in on building lists from these other LinkedIn events, because these people are publicly raising their hand and saying, this is who I am, and I'm
yeah.
interested in this topic, right? The other would
Mm,
be using someone as a proxy. So, for example, there's a woman on LinkedIn that does a great job talking about LinkedIn profiles and when you should be posting and all of these things. And she's got about 70,000 followers. And I reached out to connect with her. She connected back, and her connections are open on LinkedIn. And so
mm-hmm.
what I'm able to do is essentially say, okay, I want to see everybody that's a first connection to her, but as a second or third degree connection to me, that is also, a founder or a business coach or a sales executive,
Mm,
right? Because they're most likely following her because they want to learn how to grow on LinkedIn.
yeah.
Therefore, they might be interested in Rainmaker, right? So those are a couple of ways of starting to dive into an audience, which is looking at other
Nice.
events and then looking at people as a proxy. And then
Uh,
that last layer is really around specific LinkedIn strategies that I could go into in a number of different ways. But I'll just
yeah.
maybe pause here really quick just to see if you have any questions before we get into that.
No, that's really powerful. I mean, and not only are you showing, hey, figure out who your audience is, figure out what your product sells, or who you're targeting, and then attend those events, because like you said, people are automatically raising hand like, hey, I'm interested in this, I'm going to show up at this event. And even if they don't show up at the event, at least you know who those people are, because the event list is usually public, and you can say, oh, these people wanted to go here, maybe we can have a conversation. Hey, I saw that you're interested, and see how we can work together or figure that out. I like that so much.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is with those people that are attending those events is just, yeah, create some first connections, see if you can't start building up a relationship with them over time. But I think that really does kind of uh, lend itself now to talking about, strategies. And I'll
Mm-hmm.
just talk kind of through a three kind of basic strategies that I'd highly recommend, your audience look at doing.
Yeah.
So the first one is just building out connections, right? You want to continually build out first degree connections of people that could be customers or clients of yours. The way that I have it set out, once we have these audiences built, then we start reaching out to them. We're reaching out to 25 people a day, Monday through Friday during normal working hours. So 125 people a week, 500 a
Mm-hmm.
month. If someone doesn't connect within 30 days, then we withdraw the invite. There's a 3-week period of time where you can't re-invite that person to connect, but after that, you could invite them to connect again. And so you're kind of creating these pools of people you could reach out to at a later date. And again,
Mm,
these are all functions that exist in LinkedIn right now. So you could
yeah.
go and you could look at all the invites you've sent over the years, and you could start withdrawing a lot of these old invites that you would maybe want to try and reconnect with people. They
Mm,
are typically not connecting back. Most of the time, it's just they're busy and they don't see their the connection alert, and it just gets pushed
yeah.
down with other notifications. So I think it's good just hygiene to go in and withdraw those connections of people that didn't connect the first time around.
That's
So
brilliant.
we're getting between, I'd say, like a 10 and a 40% connection rate on these audiences. We're typically not using a connection message. That's something that you'd want to experiment with. If you're doing it all manually,
Yeah.
you want to get really personalized with a connection message, give it a try. Uh, but those percentages, like 10 to 40%, is with typically not having a connection message. And then, many times after the first connection is established, then we'll bolt on like a messaging campaign. And
Yeah.
that first message typically goes out within like 1 to 3 days. And what I'm just telling people to do is just thank someone for the connection. Don't try and sell them anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't even try and help. Just thank them authentically for the connection and leave it at that. And then with if they don't respond, then we're typically sending another message like a week or two later, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where you want to start adding value. So I'll use one of my clients as an example. He owns a law firm, and one of the industries his law firm is breaking into is the blockchain industry.
Yeah.
And for his first message, he'll say like, "Hey, Colin, thanks so much for connecting. I'm really passionate about the blockchain industry. I know you are as well. Look forward to seeing your content." Something to that effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he
Hey, I've
knows,
seen that message before.
yeah, and he knows his audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
When if you're in blockchain, you're passionate about that industry, right? And
Yeah.
so he's building some relationship there, and then if he doesn't get a response, the next message would go out like a week or so later and would follow up and just say, "Hi, Colin. I find myself more and more writing about the intersection of law and blockchain, and I'm wondering if there's any topics you'd have interest in me writing about."
Mm.
And he's getting a phenomenal response from that because he knows that blockchain founders a lot of times are having issue with the U.S. government and what laws and regulations are going to get put in
Yeah.
place or not
Yeah.
put in place. And so he's getting great response from that, where these founders are saying, "Oh, if you could write about this topic, that'd be great." Or, "Do you have any insight into this law and whether you think it'll
Mm-hmm.
pass or not?" So he's setting himself up in building relationship. He's being authentic. He's trying to help, and he's also then being seen as a thought leader through some of the messaging. But following up with messages where if your company has built out like an asset where you're sharing maybe industry analysis,
Mm.
or maybe you've created something unique that you want to share out. Maybe there's a third party that has put out something really relevant that you want to
Yeah.
share to your connections, or maybe there's an event that you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
uh, those are all great ways of just staying in front of people, providing value, not selling,
I
and
love that.
being really authentic. And then the last one that I'll quickly talk about here are LinkedIn live streams, and I've been using those with quite a bit of success.
Mm-hmm.
And the beautiful thing about LinkedIn live streams is that you can, on the front end, you can identify audiences and a topic, and you can put these events out on LinkedIn, and you can actually start testing whether your audiences care about that topic or not, because they'll either be registering or not. And if people aren't
Mm.
registering, then that you're off. Either your audience or your topic or both are off. But if you get people to register, well, then you're onto something. And then when you send out the LinkedIn event invites, you're using a LinkedIn function to
Mm-hmm.
send those invites out, which is great because it comes in as like a notification. So it's not right in their face.
Yeah.
It's nice, soft touch, inviting your audiences to go and attend the different live streams that you might be doing. And then what I think the best part about it is that when the event is over, I'll follow up with each attendee and I'll say something to the effect of, "Hey, Colin, thanks again for registering for the LinkedIn live stream that I led this morning. Not sure if you're able to make it or not, but in case you missed it,
Mm.
here's a link to the recording." Okay, so the live stream that you do gets saved as a recording forever on that event page. And then underneath that, I'll say, "If you would ever like to chat LinkedIn strategy, feel free to grab some time convenient for you here." And then I give my
Yeah.
Calendly link, right? And for any B2B, having a meeting is really the lifeblood of your business. And the
Amen.
fact that you could do a live stream and follow up with these attendees and give a Calendly link, and it doesn't feel salesy, it doesn't feel pushy, it doesn't feel icky in any way.
No.
It's really a wonderful way to provide value to your audience, to provide value to the LinkedIn ecosystem, and to hopefully get some, it's usually a small percentage, but a small
Mm-hmm.
percentage of those attendees to, start to book Calendlies to actually have some meaningful discussion in
Yeah.
meetings to really build a relationship. And so um, I would really highly recommend that the audience looked at LinkedIn live streams as a way to create repeatable content to your audience or audiences,
Mm-hmm.
and be able to scale that as a way to actually fill your pipeline.
I think what you mentioned here regarding the LinkedIn lives, because I've had the ability to go live stream, but before you even do the live stream, you're setting up an event and you're inviting a whole bunch of people to say, "Hey, come
Yep.
and listen to me," or "Come look at this research that I've done on the topic," and people are more inclined to come visit. And I like the follow up factor. Somebody said the money's in the follow up, or there's some kind of terminology or some kind of phrase that said if you're not
Mm.
following up, then you're losing half
Right.
the battle.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, people are really, really busy, and
Mm-hmm.
so following up is important. And the other thing, I've had some people, they'll register for like two or three live streams, even if it's the same content,
Mm-hmm.
because they're not able to make it the first couple of times that you might do the live stream. So
Yeah.
it's you shouldn't. And the nice thing about the LinkedIn event invites is, if you're hitting those people with an invite, you know, all the time, yes, that could be a problem. But if you're
Mm.
hitting them with an invite, once a month,
Yeah.
and inviting them to the same live stream or a different live stream that you're doing different
Mm.
topics, there's nothing wrong with that, and you're not going to burn your audience out.
I love that. So what's really cool around this is I can actually implement this strategy because I've been doing some live streams here and there, but I
Yeah,
don't have like a strategy built around it. When I feel like it, oh, I'm gonna do a live stream today, and then you
yeah,
talk
yeah,
about it because you have some free
yeah,
time. But
yep,
I like the philosophy and strategy that okay, figure out how you're going to do it, figure out when you're going to do it, inform the people ahead of time
that's
so
right.
that they're prepared. And then when you do go live stream, then you can just go directly into the value instead of saying, hey, I'm going to be talking about this, blah, blah, blah. But you're coming in with a very authentic way of not only sharing the value that you bring based on the topics, but then you're also intentionally and creating this um, live stream for the people.
Yeah, yep. And I'm teaching, right? So all of my live streams, I'm either teaching more generally how to use LinkedIn,
Mm-hmm.
but I created a second live stream where I'm teaching people how to live stream on LinkedIn.
Nice.
And so
Yeah.
I think when you start to build out um, your live streams, you're going to start identifying certain topics that
Mm-hmm.
your audience will be more interested in. And you'll even find um, there'll be certain topics that you weren't even planning on doing live streams on, that after
Mm-hmm.
you're doing live streams on other topics, you're gonna be like, you know what? I bet you my audience would love it if I talked about this, if I taught them about that, right? So
Yeah.
it really is, being a founder or somebody that's in the sales or marketing seat, we so desperately want the sale, right? We want to generate more revenue. We want our companies
Yeah.
to grow.
Yeah.
You have to somehow emotionally separate yourself from that and just think about, what value can I give my prospects? What
Mm.
value can I give them that will have them appreciate what it is that I'm putting out there, that would start having them look at me as, a thought leader, someone that they
Yeah.
trust. And there's that old adage where a lot of times people buy from where they get educated.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think it's really important that, your audience really thinks about the educational piece and how
Yeah.
important that is. And what a great differentiator it is too, against how your competition is probably communicating on LinkedIn.
You're 100% correct because I've seen a lot of ads where people are just boasting about themselves or boasting about their services instead of just educating.
Yep.
And something that Chet Holmes teaches, taught in his masterminds or his classes with Tony Robbins years and years ago, he talks about education marketing. You're just educating your market, you're educating your clients or your potential audience, like, hey, this is how this works. This is what you need to do. And what's really cool is most of my educational content has done really well on the different
Mm.
platforms.
Yeah.
So I just need to continue to do that and preface it or share it ahead of time. Hey, this is going to be coming forward, and
Yep.
it's just this isn't actually a really great conversation right now because I'm actually working on a presentation or working on a report around five different things on how to crush it on on podcasts. So I think
Yeah. No, it's perfect. Yeah.
it'd be a
No,
good one.
exactly right. You're teaching, you're giving stuff away.
Yeah.
And yeah, when you do create a LinkedIn live stream event on LinkedIn, you should also be promoting it in other places. Feel free to create LinkedIn posts about it, but
Yeah.
you could take that LinkedIn, event URL, and you could email your audience about it. You could put it on your website. You could
Right.
promote it in LinkedIn groups. So there's all kinds of different ways, even outside of LinkedIn, that you could leverage promoting that event to get more attendees there. Because most people are
100%.
always logged into their LinkedIn account. So as soon
Yes.
as they click that link, they go right into LinkedIn, and then they just have a choice. Do I want to click the attend button or not? And once they click attend, you now know exactly who they are.
Mm-hmm. Man,
Yep.
that's really powerful. And this way, you don't have to play chicken game with your email.
Right.
Hey,
Yeah.
select here, select here. No, I'm giving value. You want
Yep.
it, you can have it for free,
Yep.
etc. and whatnot. Now, what's really cool is you're working specifically with founders, coaches, and sales teams. Can you share some of the biggest challenges these professionals face when trying to grow their LinkedIn network? Now, you've given a lot of
Mhm.
different strategies, a lot of different ways. Um, what are what are some specific problems that they're facing in
Yeah.
trying to grow their networks?
Yeah. Well, I think the number one thing, it's I'd say it's two areas. One is audience building. Okay. And using, Sales Navigator uh, can be challenging for some of them because they're
Mm-hmm.
not exactly sure um, how to build their audiences in
Yeah,
Sales Navigator, which I help with. But I think that's a challenge because you you want to connect with prospects that could actually buy what you are selling, right? I want LinkedIn to be a revenue generator for me. I don't want it just to be a place where I'm building out social connections. So
yeah,
LinkedIn is still, it's a social network, but it's a business social network, and it has really a monopoly. There really aren't
mm-hmm.
any other business social networks. LinkedIn is really the place.
That's true.
So um, I think that's one area, is they just haven't thought enough about the audience. And so we have to work through that. But generally speaking, we work through it and we're able to start creating connections. And then it's a matter of converting those connections into
Yeah,
like building relationships. And that's the content piece. And so I've seen a lot of problems with they're not sure what to say, like in their connecting
yeah.
messages, right? And I even just launched a Rainmaker GPT last week to
Nice.
help my clients with messaging, where I've infused the GPT with the Rainmaker ethos about being authentic and bringing
Mm-hmm.
education first and trying to provide value first.
Yeah.
And so, because it's crazy, some of my clients are marketers or salespeople. Some of them
Mm-hmm.
are owners of like marketing agencies,
Yeah,
and they are having problems thinking about, how to message in a way that, is still coming across as authentic and helpful
yeah,
and all that. So um, I'd say that's probably the biggest thing is, audience building and making sure that you're connecting with the right people. And then number two, the messaging that you want to use. And then, you know, it's I would say it's kind of content, right? So there's
right.
messages as content, and then there's what kind of assets can you start sharing that's also content. But I think
100%.
it really behooves an organization to think about the value that they're providing and what is it that their prospect would really love to know, because that gives you a much better idea of what types of content you should be building out. And then you can start sharing that and then start to see if you get any um, traction.
I love that, man. Now you mentioned something called Rainmaker, and you've built a Rainmaker GPT that's like that your clients have access to. Talk to me about the Rainmaker difference. There are a countless tools out there, strategies out there that people are using for LinkedIn
Yeah.
growth. What makes Rainmaker stand out? Can you walk us through the benefits?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So just to be real clear, the Rainmaker GPT that I built, that's not my business model at all. I only
Okay.
made that because I wanted my clients that were giving me messages that I didn't think were very good. I
Yeah, yeah,
didn't
yeah.
I didn't want to be the one always telling them, I don't think you should send this. This is way
Yeah,
too
because you have
salesy.
so much,
Like,
yeah, so
yeah.
little time.
Yep,
Yeah,
yep. So I'd rather them interface with a GPT that kind of embodies what I think they should be doing.
yeah,
Then
yeah,
I don't have to spend the time doing it. And then it's also not me personally being the one telling them, like, I don't think you should send this. So
yeah.
um, that's just an aside. So that, but really, what with Rainmaker, um, what I've been doing, I've been using LinkedIn for probably 5 or 6 years now.
Mm-hmm.
So Rainmaker itself as a company is only 9 months old.
Okay.
But I've been doing this type of work for 5 or 6 years on the products that Josh and Zach and I have launched through Monkey Island Ventures. And so I got really good at that. And I went to them earlier in the year and I said, I think I could build a real business off of the software and the process that I've built out for LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
And so clients really hire me for strategy, which I'm happy to share for free, like we're doing
Yeah,
today on the podcast. And then automation, where I'm using automation within LinkedIn. Nothing I do is outside of LinkedIn. It's all
yeah,
in LinkedIn, and
yep.
I'm just helping my clients scale LinkedIn best practices in an authentic way, and in ways that really are driving toward helping them expand their network, but then
Mm-hmm.
focused really on generating more leads and sales through these efforts. And so that's it. And I've set it up as a white glove SaaS. So
Okay,
my clients interact with me. There's no software that they're interacting with. That's all in the back end.
sure.
I set it up to be very founder friendly. There's no contract. It's just month to month.
Mm-hmm.
There's just two pricing plans. It's $199 a month if I'm just growing out a network and then
Sure.
withdrawing invites after 30 days, or it's $499 a month if I'm doing that plus like 11 other campaign types. So, um,
Understood.
yep. And so I've tried to create the rainmakergrows.com site as a place where people can also learn about LinkedIn. And so I'll send you after this a PDF of my LinkedIn live stream process. I have a one-page
Perfect.
PDF that's literally mapped out my entire process. And you can feel free to append that however you want to this podcast, but it's
Perfect.
something that I'm happy to have other people do. And if I think you could be really quite successful with that. And then yeah, there's also a campaigns page at rainmakergirls.com that talks about all these different campaign types inside LinkedIn that people should
Mm-hmm.
be aware of. And again, if you get tired of doing it manually, then it's a good time to reach out to me. But
I love
if
it.
you do all those things manually, then continue to learn from me and implement it. And part of part of my mission with Monkey Island Ventures is to help create as many successful entrepreneurs as I can.
I love
And
that.
the world needs more entrepreneurs. We need more creators. And I'm happy to help anyone out. If you go to rainmakergirls.com, there's a free consultation button that schedules a Calendly with me. Right
Beautiful.
now, I'm the only one doing everything in Rainmaker, which is fine because a lot of it, is automation.
Yeah,
Um, but it's working out great. And again, I love talking strategy and helping. And don't hesitate. And anybody listening, if you want to chat LinkedIn strategy, to reach out.
100%. Colin, thank you so much, man. We're going to take a quick break. This has been a really insightful conversation. I absolutely love it. Let's take a quick break. And after the break, you'll share practical tips that audience can use right away for their LinkedIn strategies. I mean, you've given a lot of them already, but just going to do one-liner ones that they can implement right away. So we'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back. We've been talking with Colin Herdman about how to use LinkedIn the right way using the authentic engine, as well as making sure that you're using it properly to bring in clients, to build your authority, to uh, be the thought leader that you already are, but you just don't know how to put the messaging out. So, Colin, thank you so much for sharing so many amazing practical tips for us. But what my audience loves is tips that they can use right away. And yes, most of the
Mhm.
stuff that you have shared, we can use right away. But what
Yeah.
are three main hacks that people can use to start generating leads and building authentic connections on LinkedIn?
Yeah. So the number one thing that I would do is start honing in on your audience. And you could, create a few different audiences if you want. Uh, but if you're going to use the same cadence that I have, around like 25 a day, reaching out. You could do 10 a day, whatever time allows, but build
Mm-hmm.
that first, audience out and start connecting every day with at least, I'd say 5 to 10 people, and start to see what your connection rate comes back at. Okay. That's the number one thing. You got to start building out your network.
Yeah.
Number two, as you get those new connections coming in, you're going to want to message those people and start creating a dialogue, right? So that first message, be very authentic. Don't try
Mm-hmm.
and help or sell. Just thank them for the connection. And then subsequent messages should be adding value, right, to their life. What can you share? What assets do you have or other people have? What can you share with them that will make them start to see you as a thought leader, reduce their pain, and really begin to build a relationship? And then, the third thing that I would do if I'm on LinkedIn is, as we talked about, like, I would start to think about, like, how could I start using live streams, even if you do it, once a month or once every couple of months, just start
Mm-hmm.
dipping your toe into live streams. And it's not hard. LinkedIn's made it really easy. Everybody has that function now within their LinkedIn account, and it will allow you to start building out audience and topics to see what works, and then allows you to follow up with attendees for next steps.
Man, I love those three tips. They are powerful, and I can immediately start using them. Thank you so much, man.
Yep.
All right, towards the end of the podcast, we ask fun 6 questions that are going to help us to get to know you a little bit better.
Yeah,
Colin, are you ready for these?
I am.
All right, let's do this. So, what's the one hobby that you wish you had more time to get into?
Fly fishing.
Ooh, fly fishing with those long waiting
Yeah, with the waders. Yep.
waiters
Yep.
thing.
Yep. Yep. You're right in nature, man. You are in the water. Yep.
That's amazing. I love it.
Yep.
Number two, what did you want to be when you were a child?
Um, that's a great question. I think the probably a pro athlete.
Hmm.
Yeah. I loved basketball. I loved, football, but yeah, unfortunately my body wasn't built for those. So, but yeah. Yeah.
I'm in the same boat with you, man. I wish I did some more pro sports or any sports actually.
Hmm.
But it was a lot later in life that I picked up cycling a
Oh,
few
sure.
years ago, which has been a lot of fun.
Yeah. I love that.
All right, next up, what is your favorite movie or TV show that you could watch over and over again?
Uh, Lord of the Rings
Oh
movies.
yes. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. I could just watch them all the time.
They're done so beautifully, right?
Yeah. Did you hear they're coming out with another one in 2026?
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah. Peter Jackson yeah, they're, I think, in pre-production right now. So yeah, I cannot wait for that.
It's gonna be fun watching that series come back to life. I mean, they've done a total of 6 movies, right? They've
Yep.
got the Lord of the Rings, then they
And
got
the
the
Hobbit.
Hobbit
Yep.
prequels.
Yep.
I think it's gonna be pretty fun what they
Yeah.
put together. Next one.
Oh yeah.
All right, next up, if you could play a character in any movie, which one would you choose?
Well, now I'm going into the Star Wars universe, but Boba
Yeah.
Fett. I'd
Oh
love to
my
be Boba
God,
Fett. Yeah.
he's
He
so
was
good, right?
Yeah, he was my favorite Star Wars toy when I was a kid. And
Yeah.
like his joints were just all floppy and just, because I'd used him so much,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
couldn't even stand up because he'd just fall right over because his joints were so loose. Yeah.
I wish I could go grab the Boba Fett figure I have, but I have these are Lego stopped making these, but they used to make these constructible
Oh,
characters.
sweet. Those
So
are
you can
awesome.
actually look up Boba Fett on these ones, and you can build your own. And I
Hmm.
like I like how Lego has his entire ship also that you can build.
Yeah. So cool. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so cool.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right,
Great.
next question: who is your favorite superhero?
Favorite superhero, probably Wolverine.
Hmm.
Um, but part of it is because I have the first three Wolverine comics. So,
Nice.
yeah, I never collected any comics, but for
Hmm.
whatever reason, I got the first three Wolverine comics when I was a kid. And yeah, yeah, he's
I
just kind
mean,
of
Hugh
cool.
Jackman really filled out that character. Like, if
Yeah.
I don't know if we would see anybody else play that character. Like I think he's already won the award for playing a character the longest in any
Oh, yeah.
what do you call it? Any universe. So
Mm,
Wolverine takes that cake in it. With the latest movie with Deadpool and Wolverine, like it's totally smashed in the box offices.
yeah. Yeah. No, he does a great job playing that character. And yeah, Wolverine is a conflicted human, right? I mean, I love that kind of as he's not like a purely good superhero.
Right. He's not
Evilness to him.
Superman or he's not like Captain America. He's like, you know what? I'm just
Mhm.
me, okay? Just
Yeah.
stop messing. All right. Last question. If you are a board game, which one would it be and why?
That's a good one. Um, well, we might as well just go with Monopoly. A lot of my businesses were at the beginning of the Monopoly board and
Yeah,
didn't make it or didn't amount to much. But a few of my businesses are more toward at least the Park Place and Boardwalk
sure.
side of the board. So, but yeah, I guess that represents my entrepreneurial journey. So
That's
yeah.
really well said, man. Nobody said it that way before, and I like that description of it. So thank you so much, man. It's been absolutely pleasure and amazing having you on the show today. Your journey from starting a company right out of college to helping business owners scale through LinkedIn is truly inspiring. Before we sign off, is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience?
I would just say that if you're an entrepreneur, an aspiring entrepreneur to like get at it, go for it. We're all making this up as we go, and
It's true.
the world needs more entrepreneurs. So don't let your own fear or criticism from others stop you. Just keep going. And I think perseverance is probably the number one success factor when it comes to being a successful entrepreneur because you're going to get knocked down a lot. You just got to keep standing up, try and stay optimistic and positive and just keep
Yeah,
going.
I love it, man. Thank you so much. And how can our listeners connect with you and learn more about Rainmaker and Monkey Island Ventures?
Yeah. So if you go to rainmakergrows.com, that's the Rainmaker site. There's also monkeyislandventures.com. Feel free to, see the three of us and all the different things we have going on. And then, yeah, reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. I'm the only Colin Herdman, Hirdman, on LinkedIn. So
I
would
love
love
it.
to connect with people there too.
Thank you so much, Colin. This was a lot of fun. Thanks for tuning into Hacks and Hobbies, guys. And until next time, keep growing your network, learning new hacks, and turning your hobbies into profitable ventures. We'll see you in the next one.